So here we have the relay cereals going in. What is the relay? I will explain that more in later videos, but just kind of wanted to show you guys. This is the very first seeding we've done so far. So we don't really have anything else ready at the moment, but it's nice to get a bit of a tune-up field in. Just doing about 40 or 45 acres here in this field. I already have some of that side seeded already. I've got a couple different treatments, or 3 different treatments in here, so it's been slow. Progress has been slow, but again, this is kind of my job for the day, so that really isn't too much of an issue at this point. It's kind of nice to be able to get out and stop and check depths and not be too rushed like we normally are in seeding. So yeah, that's pretty much it for now. I will definitely be following this more when I get to the soybeans, and again in the summertime I definitely want to go through kind of a week by week update and see how this is doing. I'm really excited about this. A little nervous too. Never really done this before. Not sure if it's going to work in our area. There are quite a few producers down in the states, the southern states, doing this and having good success with it. So thought I might try it up here in Manitoba. And normally this would be done with a winter or fall seeded cereal crop. But last winter we had a heck of a time getting crop off. We had snow in the second week of October. And we had really cold, wet, miserable conditions. We didn't finish harvesting soybeans until the middle of November. So we didn't really have much time to fall seed anything. So yeah, that's kind of why we're trying this with spring cereals. And hopefully if this works out, then next year we can go and do it with winter cereals. But yeah, I think that's it for now. Hey guys, so this video is going to be a little bit choppy here. We're not doing a whole lot around the farm yet. It's still super cold. Today is like a high of +5 and a low of -6 or 7. So for you in Fahrenheit, I think that's like a high into the mid to high 30s and then a low into the low 20s. So we're still really cold here yet. It's really cold, it's really wet. We have been trying to do a little bit of groundwork. Right now I'm harrowing the 30-acre patch of lupin ground that's hopefully going to be seeded tomorrow. But yeah, I will also include the little bit of relay seeding I did on Friday. Today is Sunday, Mother's Day. So I'm going to do this little 30 acres and then I'll probably spend the rest of the day with Mom. And yeah, that's pretty much all we've been able to do. So the videos coming up will be a lot better, but right now we just aren't doing a whole heck of a lot. It's difficult to turn with one hand. So right now what I'm running is a Summers Octa harrow, and that is kind of basically what you would call a heavy harrow. It has it's kind of a hybrid. It's a medium duty harrow tines, but there's 8 rows of them. So they're 1/2 inch tines. Normally your heavy harrow is going to be 5 bar with 9/16 or 5/8 inch thick tines. These are 1/2 inch tines, but 8 bars. So it isn't super aggressive on the ground, but there is a very small spacing between them. So we really like them because it doesn't leave big ridges, and it also does pretty good on the weed control side. So we just got this thing summer of last year, I think. So far I've been really impressed with it, really happy with it. That being said, we really haven't used it a whole lot, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. I'm working in our river flat right now. You can see right over there is a pivot. We've got a center pivot over there, and that is actually going to be onion ground this year. We don't grow onions, but we do trade land with the guy who does onions, so it's kind of neat to see that production and everything that's involved there. And yeah, again, that's pretty much it for today. All right, we'll see you guys in the next one. Another thing I forgot to mention with this harrow, so this is I told you it's an Octa harrow. It's an 8 row, so it's a Summers Octa harrow. It's a 68-foot machine. Right now we're running the tines about halfway. As far as aggressiveness goes, you can back them right off or put them full on, but at this point the tines are fairly new, so Halfway is doing a really good job. I currently am doing second pass on this ground. We put Edge on, which is a granular herbicide. It has to be worked twice before it's seeded. So that's what I'm working at right now. Again, just a small 30-acre patch. But right now I'm pulling the harrow with a John Deere 9460R. So it's a 460 horse four-wheel drive. There's my 2630 display. That Dickie John is for the anhydrous, which is gonna go on this machine as soon as I'm done harrowing. That's why I'm trying to get that out of the way today. I am pulling the harrow. Right now I'm pulling at 8.7. I normally am pulling it at 10.5 just because this is a small field and I'm coming up to a corner right away. So I'm going to downshift and start making my corner. The engine load though, as you can see, it is a smaller harrow. Most people pull about 90 feet with the harrows, but you can see that engine load, that little green bar there, when it is all the way full, that is 100% of engine horsepower being used. So even though this is a little harrow not being pulled at full speed, it actually works this thing pretty hard. And I'll actually go ahead and shift this up. So that's 14th gear. We'll do one more time. That's 15th gear. We're now doing about 10 and a half. And engine load is running like 90% to full. And this is on hard, dry ground. So this harrow is a pretty good pull, even though usually these things are pretty easy. So yeah, that's I think it for the harrow. Friends! I've been in this field for maybe half of an hour, and there is an absolute army of birds now. They are everywhere. If we had any earthworms in this field, they are gone now. Folding up. That is up in the air, and we gotta lift this little guy. You can see that thing right down there. Kind of holds these arms here in place, and then as we pull forward, these arms should flip up, and the wings will fold back, and we will be good to go. So let's try pulling ahead here a little bit. Knock down the gears. Move slow just to make sure everything's going to be okay. There goes one, there goes two. And there we are. It's just that easy. Off to the next one. So, the lupin project is currently underway. This is something totally new. Super excited about it, never done this before. I shouldn't say that. I grew a different species last year. It was an absolute train wreck. Trying a new species this year. It's supposed to be a little more suited to our area, but very, very long season. So there's no guarantee whether this is actually going to mature in our area or not. So this is, it's quite an undertaking, and we're only doing about 30-ish acres, right around 30, 33 acres. Done a lot of research on these things, really I'm optimistic on them. I really want them to work. I'm really excited about it, but there's obviously a lot of questions up in the air because they've never been grown in this environment. So there could be a lot of things these plants do here that they normally wouldn't do elsewhere, and vice versa. So a lot of the research and such that I've been going off of may not hold true at all here. So there's so many questions up in the air, and I will dive a lot more into the agronomy of lupins later on. Definitely through the season, as the plants come out of the ground, I can show you kind of some of the characteristics and whatnot. And you'll be learning with me because I don't know a lot of this. I've actually never seen this plant in person before, so this is really cool. The seeds, I don't have any seeds on me to show you, but I will hopefully get a couple pictures in here afterwards. And yeah, lupins, a quick overview, they're kind of like a soybean. They're a legume, like a pulse crop. They fix their own nitrogen. They share a lot of characteristics to soybeans, and they tolerate moisture well. They're fairly moisture-loving plant. Again, long season. They pod up off the ground. Unlike soybeans, they don't pod right on the main stem. They actually branch off. They do different tiers of branching, which hopefully I'll be able to show you this summer if these plants mature well. I am growing them in a river flat or a river bottom or river valley, whatever you want to call it. If you look over there, hopefully the camera will focus well enough. There is going to be the option for a center pivot should these things need it. I'm hoping we'll actually get a decent amount of rainfall this year. Unlike the last 4 years or so, it's been quite dry. Normally we're in a high moisture climate in this area, so that has been the big inspiration for these. I tried finding a crop that would tolerate moisture well. It's kind of been hard to find. These are supposed to like sandier soils better, which our farm, not a whole lot of it in the area, but our farm has quite a bit of sandy soils. So yeah, I'm really optimistic. I think they should do well in the area, but again, I have no idea if it actually will or not. So the sun's really bright. I'm just super optimistic on this and super excited that you all will get to tag along on this. This is a totally new project, and this is a crop that's basically new to Canada. There's one producer out in PEI that's grown it before. I grew a different species last year in a small 9-acre trial, didn't do well, but got me interested in them, trying them again. And yeah, I think there's a couple producers in Alberta also doing this, and one in Ontario doing it this year. So yeah, this is basically the first time this has ever been grown in Manitoba. They've been tried before by a couple of different research groups. They were unsuccessful. The crop never made seed. So yeah, we're gonna see. There's a whole lot of question marks surrounding this. It's just gonna be a really cool experiment, and I'm excited to have you all tag along and hopefully learn something from this. I know I'm definitely going to have a lot of learning to do, and hopefully see a new crop and do some research on lupins. They're actually a really good crop as far as health is concerned. They're very high protein, high fiber. You can actually mill them into a flour, and it's actually a low carb. So the lupins have less than 2% starch, and starch is your carbohydrates. So they're for anybody who's on keto or just looking to do lower carb diets, I would highly recommend it. It's definitely a cool flour. I'm hoping to get some after this. Hopefully get some milled, try some baking and some different cooking recipes and stuff with it, and yeah, kind of go from there. But for now, I'm almost done this little field and I got a bunch of turning to do, so I think I'm going to end the video here. But we should be rolling here. We're doing some anhydrous and whatnot right now today. We'll hopefully get that done, get this field done. We'll move over to where the wheat's going. They'll get on that kind of mid-afternoon tomorrow, and then we can get seeding some wheat. And then from there, I'm hoping we will be full tilt. It's still really cold out today. Tomorrow it's warming up to plus 12, and I think 0 for a low. Tonight is going down to -7. So it's still really cold here for the middle of May, which is really, really rare for this area. This is pretty much unprecedented cold. We finished seeding last year on May 15th. It is currently May the 11th, I think, and we haven't even really started. This is the first crop we're seeding. So people are a little stressed out. We're really hoping to get in the ground, and I should have a lot more content for you coming up soon.